Today, I want to explore what is the best build in the entire game to nuke faction players with. I'm talking about you go into either a yellow or a red zone, and there's a giant blob of faction players on an outpost. So for those that don't know what this is, when you go to any of these little outposts, there will be like a huge group of people in the middle here fighting to kill a boss so they can control this outpost. Well, if you happen to be on the other team, you can just cast some spells and blow up this entire circle and kill everyone inside. But what is the best build for that? So we're going to explore exactly that today. I'm going to go through several different builds. We're going to see all the damage numbers. I am on the test realm today with maximum spec and 8.4 gear, and we're going to see what is the easiest to use, what is the simplest to use, the most effective, and so on and so forth as a solo player. So first and foremost, I just want to make sure that you guys understand how this works. Generally, as a single person, you walk into a room full of 100 enemies, they're going to kill you. What you have to do is approach from invisibility. What you would normally do is you would approach from so far away off their screen. I want you to pretend that these training dummies are real players. Well, if I'm far enough away off their screen, they can't see my nameplate. So what I have to do is drink an invisibility potion, so you have to just pretend right now I'm invisible, and as I approach them, my invisibility potion will begin to run out. Next, what I'll do is I'll cast Assassin Jacket's invisibility. This gives your next damage attack a huge damage steroid, but it also keeps you invisible and allows you to get into position. And that's what we're going to be doing. Also, one other thing too is the minor work boots. This is how we will run away after we do our act of terrorism on the enemy faction, so to speak, and they won't be able to catch us unless someone is really quick with hitting the purge button. But let's start getting into the builds. Build number 1 is the Witchwork Staff. Now, this thing has a spell called Black Hole, and it's a pretty big circle. You can cast it anywhere. There's no cast time or anything. Everything hit by this, it's a small delay, will be sucked into the middle here. Like, look at this. They will all be sucked right into the middle there. And then what you do is you dump the Royal, as you cast that, you dump the Ballista Support Fire on top of them. So that will stun everybody. Now they're all stunned, they can't do anything. Your Q spell, Magic Shock, is a small little circle here. It'll hit every single person that is sucked into the circle. And this silences them and deals damage. And then you have Enigma Blade, which will hit and deal bonus damage and then let you teleport away, and then you would run away with the minor boots. And that's how the combo works, but is the damage any good, though? We have maximum spec, full 120, we have the Crypt Candle offhand, and this is excellent quality witchwork. We're going to see just how much damage this bad boy does. And so we will do this now from invisibility. You have to pretend we've snuck up twice on these guys. We let our stack hit 10. We're going to E, D, Q, and W, 2,576. And that's going to hit everybody. That's a lot of damage. Next up, we have the Longbow, and this is what I personally use. And I'll tell you right now that this thing has amazing damage escalation. Even without explosive arrows, I just completely delete people with this spell. It's the same size circle, but it does not suck people in. There is one interesting thing, though, is that explosive arrows deals a tremendous amount of damage, because if one guy is in the middle of 10 dudes and he explodes, then that means the explosion hits 10 people. But this is for 10 arrows, so if there are 10 people all exploding next to each other, that is 10 people being exploded by 10 people being you get the point. The damage gets really stupidly dumb. Let me just show you kind of an example without invisibility. Here's the regular E spell. Alright, so this dealt 1,396, right? Not that much damage, but because this middle dummy has 2 target dummies next to him, he's going to feel the explosions of both of those. So with the fire arrows, that 1,300 becomes a whopping 2,226 damage. That's pretty damn good. And if we had even more people, that would be even more damage. It just scales like crazy, right? Up to at least 10. So as long as I'm shooting into a crowd of 10 people, they really feel it. So let's do the damage test. We're going to go invisible, and here's how this works. From unbecoming invisible, we use the face scale hat so we can't be interrupted with our channel. And then we use the explosive arrows, and then we push E. That way it gets the damage buff. and that is 2,870. So that is right now the current winner. Next up, we have the Brimstone Staff, and I may not be an expert on this because I've never really done this, but I have seen videos of people doing it, so we're going to try it out. We're going to use the Harvester Cap to put everyone technically to sleep so they can't react. We're going to summon the Meteor using the Morgana Cape. It should be a fast summon. While the Meteor is falling, it will have the buff from the Assassin Jacket because this doesn't hurt anyone. It's not going to consume our Assassin Jacket charges. As the Meteor is falling, it still doesn't consume our Assassin Jacket charges. We're then going to use our W spell to dismount the enemy players, and then the Q spell will just add a little bit more damage. And this would hurt players more, which if they survive the Meteor, they would be stunned on the Meteor because the Meteor will stun them for a... or no, it just knocks them back. Never mind. So no stuns there. But essentially how it works is you invis, and you try to get on top of players, apparently. And then you're going to Brimmy, which also puts you invisible. You go into Meteor, into W, into Q, like that. And you can see that the damage is pretty hog wild here. Over 3,000, and that was just from the Meteor and the W. So this one is very clearly the winner, right? That's 3,100, not counting the Q spell, but huge damage. Now, I forgot to mention that the Sleepy Brimmy here, the Harvester Cap, this does put the enemies to sleep so they can't do anything, and it keeps you invisible. So, pretty wild stuff there. Next up, we have the Glacial Staff. Now, the Glacial Staff is not really a really well-known faction bombing weapon. This is more so to troll people opening those chests on the open world. And unfortunately, because we're attacking target dummies, we're not going to be dealing the full damage. But if we triple the numbers that the dummy takes, that's about how much a player will take. Which sounds a little crazy, but this does require a 1-second channel, so we do have the Morgana Cape and the Face Scale hat to help out. And we're going to be doing the exact same thing. And generally what you do is you just cast this and run away. And it might kill someone, but it might wound a whole lot of people. This is really not a solo thing, but we're going to try it out anyway. We're just going to charge up to 10 here. Hit the Face Scale, cast the E spell, and then we would just kind of blink away, right? But let's just see how much damage this middle one would take, which theoretically, like, this is already, like, remember, we're tripling these numbers, right? So that'd be 6,000, like this deals a ridiculous amount of damage already. It's a pretty high number. But all we really need it to do is about 2,400 damage, or not even that. Like, when I shoot, like I said, I can shoot people with a longbow, and that dealt 1,300 something to these dummies. 1,400, and that's going to kill most players. Not everyone's running around in 8.4 gear, but essentially, you know, it's let's see how many ticks it takes to get to that. We'll do one more test here. It's a little really hard to call this one. It's definitely more damage than Brimstone, but remember, people are going to use defensives and they're going to run away. So we're going to charge this to 10 one more time, and I'm not going to do the damage passive, whatever. So, how many ticks until it hits 1,400? So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Well, it would be 1,400. Each hit is 125, and it's 2 hits per second. All right. So that's 250 times 3. So that it takes 2 to 3 ticks to kill someone, which means 2 to 3 seconds. They have to stand in that for 2 to 3 seconds, and then they are dead. So, like, let's see what that would feel like if it was on us, right? I'm just, you know, AFK on the point, and then it's like, oh no, I'm taking damage, oh no. Well, that's 2 seconds. I would have survived, you know, but yeah, this one's really hard to call, so I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. This next build is not exactly the same as the others. It more so relies on mobility with the Stalker Jacket. So we're going to be essentially measuring the damage of the Stalker Jacket combined with the Cultist Sandals, which, believe it or not, this can absolutely melt people in faction PvP, but we're also going to be using a double-bladed staff. This is going to make us hella tanky. This also has AoE capabilities. You know, you go into a group of people, you push Q, and that's 400 damage right there. That's pretty good. Now, if we were to armor shred them, you know, the damage is even more. Let's wait for the dummies. And there we go, we've armor shredded the dummies, and now the damage is 570. It's not much more, But you combine this with something like the Avalonian Eye Laser Beam Helmet or the Mage Cowl. You combine it with the Electric Field. You jump in with Soaring Swipe. All of this stuff is going to just be pretty damn crazy for the damage. The text is getting a little heavy on the screen. Let's hide it. So let's find out how much damage we can just kind of do. You know, we jump in with the Cultist Sandals. So here we go. Cultist Sandals. We're going to jump in. And it didn't, this is not hitting. I gotta try again. Damn it. Alright, test number 2. Hopefully the target dummies don't bug out this time. We're gonna hit them with this, a little bit of this. And I really just care about the damage of the one in the middle here. I'm not auto-attacking, I just wanted to kind of do that. So you can see that this is around 3,000 something damage. It's very hard for them to run away because when I E them with Soaring Swipe, that's a slow. The Bridgewatch Cape is also a slow. And it's all enemies around me. So, like, check it out. Like, see, now I'm just slowing everyone around me. So they're not running away. They're not getting away from Electric Field. They're not getting away from the Armor Shred. Oh, I didn't even use my helmet. Oh, I forgot. Well, time for another test. Now, I will say that this also makes escape kind of hard because your boots aren't fast. All you have is Soaring Swipe and Stun Run to get away. But, again, we're going to test the damage here, so... We're going to Soaring Swipe in, Armor Shred, hit him with that, hit him with some Qs. We're running around, we get one more Q. And the damage, look at that, damage is around 4,000, or 2,800 for this guy. It's anywhere from 2.8 to 4,000 damage. That's pretty damn good. And just for the sake of having your boots, you know, be minor boots if you really want to escape, what if we just don't use Armor Shred on boots? Well, it's going to be significantly less, but I'll show that off anyway. Here we go, and we're going to do that. Hit him with the Q, we're running around, we're still shocking. And see, this is still kill a lot of players. It's still ridiculous. It's still 2.6 to 3,100 damage. You just jump in there. Also, for those that aren't aware, the double-bladed, it gives you HP. This is giving me an extra 486 health. That makes you tanky as hell. This is already a pretty damn tanky build. I think that this one is very strong at nuking factions. Although it's not like a big one-hit explosion, it's still consistent, ridiculous damage. Like, if you're fighting, like, very small scale, like there's, like, 5 dudes capping in an outpost, I think if you're rocking something like this, they're toast, they're done. So what about Forge Hammers? These things are even more beastly, they give you more HP. The mobility, it's not quite exactly as much, but it's still pretty damn good with slowing charge. So essentially, the way this looks like is you're just going to run into the enemy pack, you're going to slow charge, going to activate all your stuff here, throw big, which slows even more, and just spam your spells, spam your Q and your E, and you're just slamming into everything. Look at here at the damage. This is like 4 to 5,000 on, it was like 4,800 on that guy. So we got more damage, way more damage than the double-bladed, and more tankability. And then when you're done, you just run away. You just dash away. This thing has a 15-second cooldown, and we can try that test once again without the boots here, because everything is a very short cooldown. If a few people do end up chasing you, you can just turn around and smash them. I've seen people run this build in Bridgewatch, and they are absolute monsters. But here, let's do the build again. We're going to slow charge into the group. We're going to, light them up, get big, smash them. And I might be missing some of these attacks. I'm not even auto-attacking, but this middle guy, 3,000, 1,700, 2,300 on this dude, and that's just with one rotation, which I think I might have missed some of the attacks. It's pretty damn good. Next up, we have the Bridled Fury. This is the dagger weapons. They look really cool, but they've been kind of nerfed lately. I don't think I've seen anyone use these at all, not even in like ZVZs anymore. These used to be used all the time, but essentially what you do is they're a little bit harder to use because you do have to charge up your Q spell. So let's go. I accidentally hit stop record for some reason. What we're going to do is we're going to hit the Q, and then we're going to go in Viz, hit the W for a damage boost, hit the E, which disengages us, try to hit the D, and then run the F away. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's get it charged up and see how well we do. So we want to make sure we're at 3 stacks and 10 stacks there. So there we go. Hit the E, 1,555. That damage is very piss poor. That is, when we combine the helmet, 2,100. This is a fail. This is the worst one so far. Demon Fang is going to be the exact same thing, except it's being buffed by the Crypt Candle. This was also heavily nerfed. It's a cool looking weapon, but man, give us back the black hands, boys. I missed that one. Now, the thing about Bridled Fury is it has a resilience penetration of 50%, and this one only has resilience penetration of 40%. That means the more targets you're hitting in a crowd who are also being hit by other attacks, you're going to only break 40% of that defense. So let's see how well we do. We're going to charge up our Q, go invis, we're going to dash, and then triple E and see how well we do. There we go, dash into triple E, and that's 2,200 there. This will kill people, and that happens really fast. That is a very fast, like, that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. With how fast that is, not bad. What about without invis? Well, lucky for us, we can test it here. Dash in, chop, 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 2,100. So you can see that Assassin Jacket, not even that good. Not even that good. I think we can improve this. I just want to show you guys what this would technically look like in a real scenario, okay? So you're over here. They can't see your nameplates. You start charging your Q. You drink Invis Pot right now. We're Invis Potioning. The Invis Potion's about to run out. Well, dang it. I didn't time my upgrades correctly, so... But you get the first point, right? We would have this charged up. Here we go. We're still Invis Potted. We get closer to the enemy. Now we Assassin Jacket. And then we wait for that to say 10. We dash into the mobs. We slash them 3 times. We blow fire in their face. And then we run away. Right? And then, you know, this... Well, the damage actually stops. But it goes over 3,000 with the Fire Breath attack. You could also use the Avalonian Laser Beam. This is 3k plus. Easy. Now it's time to show off a very lame Spirit Hunter build. Now, the Spirit Hunter leaves behind a corrupted trail at armor shreds. This thing actually used to melt incredibly fast in ZVZs back in the day. I don't know how hard it hits now. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to be invisible. From invisibility, we'll charge Inner Focus. We're then going to dump a Ballista support and throw the Corrupting Steel. What this will do is stun the target, and they will be stunned longer than normal because Inner Focus increases our crowd control effects. And that means they're going to be stunned while melting from the Corrupting Steel, and then we'll already be running away by the time they know what happened. So this is what it's going to look like, and this is the kind of damage we can expect to see. So let's go Invis, wait for that to stack up to 10, and then we're going to go after the middle guy here, and then we're going to charge up, and oh no, they see our name, oh no! And 2,000, 2,004, so he's going to wake up from stun now, and it's about 3,000 damage towards whoever got stunned, but everyone else, not quite as much. So we're gonna write down 3k damage, but it's just a line attack. It's not like a really big explosion like the other spells. So I don't know if it's really all that good, but you can do it from range. You can do it from a very far away range. This says 11 meters. This one here is 24 meters, so we can even just do it without the helmet, and I'll show you that too, because you're just going to throw this into a pile of people who are standing around just kind of minding their own business, and then they're going to suddenly be melting to death, and that's pretty funny. But other than that, this build it's just kind of a meme, really. Let's do one more test here. We're going to go Invis. And you could try to like charge this up and then go Invis. It won't work. You need to go Invis first. So there we go, stack that up to 10, and then we're going to go charge this to 10, and then hooah! And there we go. So, yeah, that's 2,800. So the helmet definitely, you know, brought it above 3k, and that's how you hold them in place while they melt to death. That's the only way to really hold them down, because they're going to take damage and be like, ah, what's going on? And they're going to step away from the Corrupting Steel. Now, someone's in the comments going to be like, why not use Forest to Spears, bro? That's pretty good. What if you Forest to Spears? And I'll show you. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. So we're just going to, you know, go Invis, wait for the 10 stacks, barrel into E into Forest to Spears, and you know the damage is more, but you also have to get way closer too. So that actually might be better. I think that's actually better. Hey, there you go. It's actually 4K now. And, you know, we could have weaved in a Q there for a stab. That would have, yeah, that would have made it even wilder, right? Like, it's not a bad spell. It's actually pretty good. It's a low cooldown, you know, big AoE, lots of damage. And then the last one we're testing here is the Energy Shaper. And this one's a little bit different because you don't really approach as invisible at all. The way it generally works is you have to, this is also really hard to time. You try to approach the outposts and stand in the doorways and laser anyone that you can, because it's just a line attack. And I will say that this does less damage to mobs, aka the target dummies. So we have to triple the damage and pretend that's what we're doing to players. But essentially what you do is you stay off screen, you know, like maybe slightly in faded nameplate range. You drop your magic rune from the royal robe. So we're going to do that, and we're going to get up to 5 stacks here. So there's 3, 4, 5, and so on. And, oh, I'm sorry, 6 stacks. And then we would activate the helmet, the boots, and then we would just kind of run up and then try to hit as many targets as we can with the laser, which I don't think I properly did it right. But they're not going to stand in that, and that would be 6,000 damage if they did. But we can try that again. It's very difficult to kind of time it all exactly right. But you could also, you know, shoot out some of the Q spells here, which is really nice. But essentially, you stack the magic rune up, and then you try to stack the helmet up. You get the boots buff, and then you just run into the doorway and laser beam. And you're going to kill people with that. And, like, they will absolutely melt, and they won't be able to react in time. And if anyone approaches your doorway, they also melt in the beam. So, pretty cool stuff. Also, you're not interruptible while you do this. This is uninterruptible. See, it says can't be interrupted right there in the middle. So you don't have to use a face scale helmet. Alright, so we're going to drop rune. There we go, get that charged up. Helmet. And then we're going to boots. And then we're going to laser beam. And then, remember, this is triple damage. So it only takes a few ticks to essentially kill another player. It's just, you don't really have an escape plan. You can drop caltrops and kind of try to run and then kite, like so. But this is more of a ZVZ weapon where you're, like, controlling a choke so much as a faction bombing and then run away thing. Because you generally want minor boots to be able to get away. Otherwise, you're facing insanely high repair bills doing faction fighting with this. Next up, because I know people are going to ask me for this one, it is the Siege Bow. And I have never been killed by this in ZVZs. I've been hit multiple times, even in like 4.1, you know, wearing 4.1 armor, and I've never died to this, so I don't have high hopes for it. The way it works is you need to stack up this little, the 5 spellcast buff, but so how you would basically do that is you're standing off screen, you do the basic shit. You cast like a Q on the ground, a W, and then you would invis pot. And so, Invis Pot doesn't count as a spell, so this would be spell number 3. And then we're going to let that go to 10. Face Scale Hood would be 4, and then E would be 5. And then this, it's so slow. Like, it's 2,700 damage, and you're not hitting all 4 of those. And you may be thinking, but what about the percent max health thing? Well, they nerfed it. It is now just 2.5% of their current HP. Again, I've had people blast me with this thing, and I have never died to it. It has okay damage escalation if you're shooting into a crowd of 100 people. It is a very wide AoE, for sure. Absolutely, very wide. And I mean, look at that. It's a wide blast, right? You're hitting a lot of people with that, but you have to sit there and channel for 4 entire seconds. And okay, not 4 seconds. It's a little bit faster, but it's 3 seconds. In that 3 seconds, they're gonna light you up. You're dead. I've never, again, I just don't like it. Now, I've seen this build, and it kind of worked pretty good, so I'm kind of curious to test it out myself, but it is one-handed mace build, and it's the same exact way. You stealth into the enemies, but this time you air compress them all into one spot, which it has a pretty big AoE there. You can see it, and unfortunately, it does damage, which is... I didn't think it did damage, but whatever. So, essentially, you air compress everyone, right? From invisibility. So here's how, we'll go ahead and pretend we're gonna do it. So I'm invisible, I wait for the 10 stacks. Air compressor, into leap, into Q, and then the breath. And you can see that the damage is freaking there. The damage is pretty damn good. And because you're a mace user, you have extra HP. Of course, using the Crypt Candle means that you take way more damage. But the guy, like, you could use Facebreaker, you could use Moizak, you don't have to use a Crypt Candle. It's just the double Q from the Caerleon cape, the fact that everyone's pulled into one, like I said, you're pulling everyone here into a circle, you're jumping on them, and then you're smashing them twice with the mace. It's just so much damage. And then, of course, you have the Fire Breath or the Avalonian Laser. And, again, the damage, it's there. It's just hard-hitting as F. It's crazy. And then, of course, you skedaddle once you've killed everyone. And you could probably sit there and continue to brawl, you know, as a mace user if you want. But otherwise, it's pretty good. Pretty good combo, I think. Time for honorable mentions. The Avalonian Bow is just a slower energy shaper. The Wailing Bow, I have never killed anyone with this, and I have an 8.4 and 100 spec into all bows and ZVZs. And again, I have never killed anyone with this. They buffed it recently, but it still sucks. And I think the only way to make this work is to have someone juice you up with an Arcane Staff. That's the only way I've ever seen anyone get a kill with this lately. The Badon Bow, the dot damage is good, but it's not lethal. The Weeping Repeater doesn't deal enough damage. Even on defense, this thing sucks. The Siege Bow is way too slow. I've never seen anyone use War Gloves to nuke a blob ever in ZVZs or in faction fights. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I don't know how to do it, and I don't feel like experimenting for the next hour. I just want to get this video done. Swords require charges. Yes, Galatine Pair is fun, and I've seen the clap, videos, but you have to slash a bunch of people. When it's just you against a 100-man blob, they focus fire you the second they see your nameplate, so you don't have time to build charges. You have to fire and forget and get the hell out of there so you don't have a repair bill. Galatine Pair is just a worse Brimstone Staff with extra steps anyway. Like, just go Brimstone. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. I'm SwolBenji. Thanks for watching. As always, be a bro and stay swole. I read every single comment, so if you have a comment for me, go ahead and post it. It really helps out. Like the video too, because Reddit will want to bury this one for sure. Also, make sure that you subscribe, because I'm close to 100K, and you don't want to miss the next video. It's a good one. On the right side of your screen is a video you should absolutely click. If you don't click it, then you'll have to work or go to school or have something that occupies your day when the new weapon line comes out in like 60 days.